Periodically, I get asked from investors who have not invested with us before, just how do we invest with VisionWise Capital? And I explain to them that that's a great question. I'd love to answer it in great detail, but let me give you the high level from this point of view for now. And that is, we have 4 funds. Fund number 4 is the one that is currently active. Fund number 3 is winding down. Funds number 1 and 2 have been active, and we have track records with those 2 funds. But now we've rolled all of them up into now just Fund 4 is what you have available to invest in going forward. This is how it works. An investor can subscribe into Fund 4 with a minimum of $100,000 investment. That subscription is simply a document that basically says, this is how much I'm investing in your fund, and this is what I expect out of you as an operator. Once those funds are received and that document is received, there's a specific contract between the investor and the fund manager as to what can or cannot be purchased inside that fund. And this is what's inside of Fund 4. It's purely apartment income property. That's it. Apartments between 5 and 50 units in size, apartments that are in Orange County or perimeter cities, and apartments that are generally old and a little bit tired and worn down, but fully occupied, that we can immediately step in, renovate through our expert team of tradesmen, and turn around a profit for the investors in a fairly short period of time. On average, it takes us 12 to 14 months to be in and out of any particular property. And we do that with a precision that allows us not to have to remove or displace all of the tenants, but instead it's a schematic and a systematic way of processing through the renovation so that the residents have the option of either staying in their unit or in a unit next door to them in the same complex if they choose. Our goal at VisionWise Capital is to retain 50% of the tenants and have them pay the higher rent. It makes sense for them because they're not going to be able to, in that local neighborhood, find another property that pays less rent where they're going to have the new car smell of a brand new, fully renovated apartment unit when they move back in. We're pleased with Fund 4 in a lot of ways. It's a relatively new fund. It's less than a year old. And all of the investors that come in now are able to take advantage of the profits from the properties that we've purchased over the last 6 to 8 months. Let me explain what that means. One of the properties in Fund 4 currently is at 374 Cypress Drive in Laguna Beach. It's a 10-unit apartment building that we purchased in September of 2020. But now that property, and plus another 3 months, will be worth about $1 million more than it was when we purchased it. Investors coming into Fund 4 now get an opportunity to share in that upside. That's the uniqueness about coming into Fund 4 now, when in fact 6 months from now, those profits will be capped and the new investors will not be able to enjoy the fruit of that previous labor. So let me give you a little bit more detail about the way the waterfall works in Fund 4. This is really important to you as an investor to know. Once I put my money into the fund, how do I get it back out again? In what form? Let me answer that question. There's 3 ways that you get your money back out of Fund 4. The first, and the one that is probably most important to you, is the steady distribution of income. Every quarter, you will be getting a check that adds up to, over the course of a year, 6% return on your invested dollar. It's called a preferred return. It's the first 6% earned in Fund 4 goes out to the investors in a quarterly check. Now, that's 1.5% per quarter that you're able to receive on your money. That's like 3 times what a CD is paying today, and incomparably consistent relative to any other preferred dividend that you might get from a stock. So the first thing you want to know is it's an income-generating investment. Second, the next way you're going to get paid is whenever we sell an asset, which we hope to be 2, 3, 4 times a year, there's going to be another check that comes out from the sale proceeds of that particular sold item. When we sell this 10-unit apartment building that I mentioned to you earlier, that's going to come out in some form or another about $1 million positive in terms of profits. That $1 million will be spread amongst all Fund 4 investors based on a pro rata share, your interest, to the entire fund. If that makes sense to you, you'll see what I mean, how the 6% per year, plus getting 1 or 2 checks a year from the sale of the assets that we buy, renovate, and then sell, ends up being a tremendous cash flow for you from year to year. The third way, every so often a property will appreciate in value, but the location, the property type, the age of the property causes it to be what we would call a trophy asset, something we don't really want to sell. And in that case, we will refinance that property and pull out some or all of our cash And that will be a distribution again to the investors, only this time, because it's from the refinancing of the property, it'll be a tax-free distribution to you. 3 ways that you get compensated from Fund 4. Let me recap. First, in a preferred return, a distribution that happens quarterly for an annual return of 6% on your money. Second, every time we sell an asset, there will be profits to distribute, and you get the lion's share of your pro rata portion of those profits. And then third, as a longer-term investor, as properties appreciate in value that we do not sell within the fund, those properties will be refinanced at lower interest rates, and the proceeds from that refinance, whether it be all or some of your capital, will be redistributed back to you on a tax-free basis. My objective for you as an investor is to be so elated with the amount of cash that you receive from Fund 4 on a year-by-year basis that you'll be telling your friends and family members about what they're missing out on by not being involved in something so consistent and so regular as an income stream from VisionWise Capital's Fund 4.